Hello. So I'm here at Color Lake, the beautiful Color Lake, and I'll just give you a quick show of it. And of course, there's some ducks. Anyway, in case you didn't believe me, I'm at Color Lake. So today, I have officially completed 31 years as a caregiver at MedSource. So I've been at the same agency, and for a big majority of those years, I was at the same house, and I'm now at a different house and am enjoying it there. But I thought maybe I would tell some stories or just talk about from my perspective what 31 years of being a caregiver is. Um, so the year I started was a very cold winter. Again, obviously it was toward the end of November and just after Thanksgiving. And I was not med certified. Like, we have to get certified to give, obviously, because we live in the houses and we take care of in my case, my guys. And so I had to administer medicine, so I had to be certified. So when I first started, I was not certified, and I would have to take um, my guys to other houses to get them, the people who are certified, to give them meds. And that's one of the reasons that I started having so many dinners and parties is I would tell people, if you bring your people to my house, I'll fix dinner, and then you can give my guys the meds before you leave. So it worked out great, and I enjoyed it, and it did sort of start me off on the right foot. It was a little bit of a weird time to not be certified and to have to, I remember a couple of snowy days that I still had to take them. There were some houses that lived close to where we were. Then we were on Deerfield Place, over near the Wise on Old Camp Road, and we had to shop at the Old Camp Road Wise store with a voucher. So that was how far away it was, far ago it was. But I remember one time I was going out to give the meds, and I had cleaned off the sidewalk, and so that the guys would, and I put salt down so that they wouldn't slip. And I ended up, because of the way I had to help them out, I was walking on the grass, and I fell and landed right on my butt. Of course, I was young then, so it didn't matter. Like, I was fine, and I just fell. So we get in the car, and every time Mo looked at me, Mo always sat in the front. He was my co-pilot, and every time Mo would look at me, he would just bust out laughing. And from the very beginning, it made me love him because of his sense of humor and that. And I would just laugh, and I kept saying, "Mo, it's not that funny," and then he would laugh again. So we had a good little time that the one time that I fell. And when I first went and met the guys, Rob took me, and I remember going in the house, and Albert and Eugene were sitting in the living room, and Mo was back in his room. And so I go back to meet Mo, and Rob says, "Mo, this is Mike. He might come to work here." And Mo sort of looked at me, wasn't very impressed, and went back to listening to his music. And I later realized that he had music in his heart so much that that's all he focused on. And so I thought, well, I'll try this for a while, to see to see how it goes, and whatever. So the first weekend I was there, we would be sitting there doing nothing. I'd have the TV on or whatever, and one or all three of the guys would start giggling. So I always felt like I was not in on the joke. But then I wondered what they were thinking about, or what made them giggle at that particular point. But it wasn't, I don't know what, obviously I don't remember what I had on TV, but it was probably MTV, when they used to actually be music TV. That's how far ago it was. Like MTV, you actually watched videos, and then also VH1, and then CMT. So we had all of those varieties. So I would switch it around. so that they would get a variety of music. But anyway, so people would tell me different things. Like, I think probably the angels are entertaining them, that sort of thing. So I just hoped in my heart that they were remembering some time that was a good time in their lives and someone who loved them and some time when they felt safe. So that's just what I always thought when they were laughing, is that they were remembering something. So I told them one day, we were all in the living room, and I told them, for as long as I'm with you, I will always try and help you have fun. I will always love you, and I will always protect you. And that did become my motto throughout the time. Um, Looking back now on it, I think about how little I knew when I started, and lots of people helped me along the way. But we were new at this, and I don't think any of us knew as much. Rebecca is the director, and everybody who knows her knows she's awesome and terrific. And I always had great respect for her and felt like she knew everything. And her and I have talked about it since, and she says, well, we were all going by the seat of our pants, and that was true. Except maybe Rob. I think Rob knew everything and still does. But, and Debbie Barker was our nurse, and of course Teresa was the psychologist. I used to say she was a psychologist for the staff as much as for our people. But all of those people in the very beginning, Margie and Laura and everyone who worked in the office, and Brenda Cook, all of these people I got to meet very early on, and I consider all of them dear friends, and feel like I've learned something from each of them, through the years. So I, it was so. I had fun with the guys. So when I started, Eugene was a little bit nervous, and they would say to him, they said to me, you can't really take them out much because because of the severity of their disability. Well, telling me I can't do something was probably the best thing, because I was determined that we were going to find out if there was something. The one staff told me, if you take them to the movies, you pick a movie you like. When the lights go down, they'll all three go to sleep. You can watch a movie. When the movie's over, you wake them up, you all go home, and you say, well, I took them to the movies. But oddly enough, I very rarely took them to the movies, because I thought they've already had that experience and they didn't care for it. Now, I would take them to certain movies if I thought they were going to enjoy it, like the Michael Jackson movie that was all the music. I can't think what it was called, but we did go see that one, and they loved it. We went to the Maryland Theater, the Maryland Science Center in Baltimore one time, and saw the 3D version of the Rolling Stones. And believe me, Mick Jagger's tongue, 3D, is an amazing thing to see. So if you ever get a chance to see it, go see it. So I took them. Of course, Albert and Eugene were blind, so they didn't use the glasses, and Mo just played with his glasses. But they enjoyed the concert, and it was a great time. So I decided, for Eugene, what I did at the house is I turned the radio on, and I would turn it up loud so that he could get used to loud music. I would sit beside of him. If he seemed to be getting nervous, I would take his hand, and I would talk to him, or I would talk to Mo. And he trusted me, and he got used to my voice. So when we would go out on outings, I had Mo on one hand, Albert on the other hand, and Eugene holding on to Albert's shoulders. And I would talk to Mo as a way for Eugene to know that I'm still with them, and that, for whatever reason, my voice, calmed him down. So we started by going to the carnivals, and we would go sometimes 2 or 3 nights a week to the carnivals, because they loved them. And what I would do is that usually they have 2 sets of music, so I would go, and we would go take dinner with us, and we would go for 1 set of music, and then not be out too late for weekdays. But on Friday, we would sometimes go overboard and stay the whole time till it's over. But and those were great fun. And then I started going to the Sunday night Baker Park shows, and we went to as much of them as I could, um, and we had so many good memories. And Mo used to go and stand in front of the stage, and he would do it like once he knew that's where the music was. He would do it every time we got there before anything started. And the guy who did the sound system at the Baker Park on Sundays, at one time I was walking back to the car with my guys, and he told me, I when your guy goes up to dance, I turn the music on because I know that's why he's there. And I did notice that, when he would go up there, it seems like right after that the music started, and I thought it was the sweetest thing. And he said, I'm not here every Sunday night, but I left a note for the other guys and told them, when the little guy who loves to dance goes up to the front, um, turn on the music. And most every time they did. One time I was walking and I heard and we had heard the bells chiming earlier before the concert, and I was walking with my guys, and the guy behind me said he was glad to see me bring the guys out all the time. And I said, oh yeah, we always enjoy it. It's so nice because we have dinner and then we hear the bells and then the concert starts. And he told me he was the one who rang the bells. And he said, so when he goes up there to do that, he would think of us. Of course, I could tell you 1,000 stories, and some I've told many other times. When I look back on my career and my life, is one thing, being at the same place for 31 years means that you're old. So when I look back, I just think that it's been a blessing to me. I hope I've been a blessing to all my guys. I, I, if I had it, I don't regret doing that and staying there. But I think in the beginning, if I had known how difficult it would become, I probably would not have done it. And that's probably why we don't know ahead of time, what comes of it. Each death was devastating to me because each of my guys have had a place in my heart. And I remember first when Albert died, he was not expected. It was very sudden, and he choked and then developed pneumonia and passed away. And it was very shocking to me. And Lisa and the girls went to visit him one time when I was at work with the other guys, and they called me because they could hear him laughing. He had a very distinct laugh, and that was the final laugh I heard of Albert. But I remember all of them. And then Joe came to live with us, and then Joe died, and then David came to live with us, and then sadly Mo died. And I think everyone knows that he had a very special place in my heart. I loved all of my guys. I would do anything in the world for any of them. But Mo, we developed a very special relationship. So I haven't really been able to go back. I thought about it this year to go back to the Sunday concerts, but I always went and took my guys. So I just don't see, I don't want to go through that without them. So I haven't been back to the Sunday concerts at Baker Park for a long time. I very rarely go to the carnivals because it's sad memories to me, even though the time at the carnivals were happy memories. But just the reminder that they're gone was difficult. And then, of course, recently David died, and Scott was with us for a very brief time that most people didn't know, but Scott came to live with us after he had some health problems. They thought he was doing well. And so I had gotten to know him, and I was looking forward to working with him. He was only there for a couple of weeks, but, I loved him, and I had gotten to know him, and he had a good sense of humor, and I would have loved to have had him longer, but of course I would say that about all of them. But it it's been a good life. I always think my nieces and nephews get jobs and they get promotions and they move up or whatever. And I always say, well, I've been here. Now I can say I've been here for 31 years. I've never got a promotion. I'm still at working the same job, but there's no other job I would have wanted, and no other group of guys that I would have been with. Of course, I know if I had different ones, I would have hopefully said that about them. But so to 31 years, it's been more than half of my life, and we'll just see what comes next. But each of them have a special place in my heart, and when each of them died, I prayed a prayer for them. May you walk strong and tall. May you see the brightness around you, and may you forever dance to the music of angels singing. And that is my wish for each of those that are gone, and each of them are still alive. I wish for them good days, happy times, and that all of their dreams come true. So that's 31 years.